Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. In today's episode, we take you into a topic that has long fascinated the world, the longevity miracle of Japan. At a time when global population aging is accelerating, Japan has consistently ranked among the countries with the longest life expectancy. So, what exactly has Japan done right? Is its secret really as simple as having advanced medical care? During the 1950s and 1960s, Japan entered a period of rapid post-war economic growth. In 1961, the country officially achieved universal health insurance, a major institutional breakthrough that provided affordable and accessible medical coverage for the entire population. Between 1965 and 1980, as economic development continued, life expectancy in Japan rose sharply, marking a critical turning point in population health history. From the 1980s onward, Japan steadily secured its place among the world's longest living nations and has remained there ever since. A chart based on OECD data clearly shows that since the 1970s, among G7 countries, Japan has consistently ranked first in life expectancy for both men and women, with the advantage among women being particularly pronounced. This long-term, stable lead inevitably raises a core question. What exactly has enabled Japan to become the world's most long-lived society? Part of the answer is indeed closely tied to Japan's post-war economic boom. But what is even more striking is that despite having the highest life expectancy among G7 countries, Japan's per capita healthcare spending is nearly the lowest. This contrast clearly shows that Japanese longevity is not simply a matter of buying health with money, but rather the result of deeper social and lifestyle foundations. Two studies published in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine and the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition have systematically analyzed the mechanisms behind Japanese longevity from the perspective of lifestyle medicine. Together, these studies point to a key conclusion. Japan's success stems from a high degree of alignment between individual behaviors, social structures, and public policies, all working toward shared lifestyle medicine goals. First and foremost, Japan's traditional dietary culture, widely known as washaku, must be mentioned. This dietary pattern is clearly structured and deliberately restrained, typically consisting of a bowl of rice, a bowl of soup, and a variety of small side dishes. The emphasis is on nutritional balance rather than excessive intake. Fish and seafood play a central role in the Japanese diet, providing abundant omega-3 fatty acids that are especially beneficial for cardiovascular health. At the same time, the diet relies heavily on plant-based foods, prioritizes seasonal vegetables, and minimizes highly processed foods, thereby ensuring adequate intake of dietary fiber and a wide range of micronutrients. Overall, a dietary structure centered on plant-based foods and fish, while selectively incorporating Western dietary elements, is closely associated with Japan's long-term health and high life expectancy. Japanese people place particular emphasis on food diversity, even promoting the idea of consuming up to 30 different food items per day. Combined with a preference for light flavors and moderate calorie intake, this approach has become a key foundation for maintaining a healthy body weight. From a data perspective, changes in energy and nutrient intake among the Japanese population reflect the entire process of post-war social transformation. In 1946, average daily energy intake was about 1,900 kilocalories per person. By 1951, it had rapidly increased to over 2,100 kilocalories, and during the period of rapid economic growth, it continued to rise, peaking at around 2,300 kilocalories in 1971. After the 1973 oil crisis, as economic structures shifted, overall energy intake gradually declined, reaching a post-war low of 1,840 kilocalories by 2011. A closer look at the macronutrient composition reveals that the post-war rise in energy intake was mainly driven by increased consumption of animal fats and proteins, while carbohydrate intake continued to decline, closely linked to reduced rice consumption. Meanwhile, the growth in fat intake largely came from a marked increase in the consumption of meat, milk, and dairy products. Doesn't this resemble the inverted food pyramid seen in the most recent U.S. dietary guidelines? Beyond the food itself, Japanese people also follow a series of deeply rooted cultural principles around eating. One of the most representative is hara hachibiyu, the practice of eating until one is about 80% full. This concept is especially prevalent in Okinawa, a region famous for longevity. By naturally limiting portion sizes, Japanese people control energy intake without deliberate dieting, thereby reducing metabolic burden. At the same time, the concept of mindful eating encourages people to listen to their body's hunger signals, respect food, chew slowly, and savor the dining experience, an attitude that is itself an integral part of health. Japanese dietary habits also reflect a deep integration with the natural environment. Seasonal changes influence not only food choices, but also the rhythm of daily life. From cherry blossom viewing in spring to autumn leaf viewing, from seasonal ingredients to traditional festivals, nature remains a constant presence in everyday living. At the institutional level, Japan has systematically embedded health concepts into society through the Shokiku, or food education movement. The Basic Law on Food Education, enacted in 2005, elevated food education to a national strategy. From an early age, children learn to grow vegetables in school, participate in cooking, understand where food comes from, and acquire essential life skills. Japan also places great importance on preserving traditional food culture, emphasizing family meals and seasonal awareness, while supporting local agriculture, farmers' markets, and community-based production to ensure food freshness, safety, and sustainability. The workplace is another critical pillar of Japan's healthy living system. The lifetime employment tradition provides employees with a sense of stability and reduces long-term stress. Companies widely offer regular health checkups, and in 2015 the Japanese government introduced a stress assessment system to prevent burnout and promote mental health. In addition, through a health-oriented corporate certification system, companies that actively promote employee health gain not only social recognition but also advantages in capital markets, creating positive incentives. At the same time, Japanese society often centers life purpose around social connections. This stable, purpose-driven outlook on life plays an important supporting role in mental well-being and long-term longevity. Government efforts have been equally sustained and systematic. Through legislation, Japan has emphasized the importance of healthy lifestyles, and the Smart Life Project, launched in 2011, further strengthened health promotion by encouraging increased daily physical activity, balanced diets, reduced tobacco exposure, and early detection and intervention through regular health screenings. The Health Promotion Act of 2002 explicitly stated that individuals must take responsibility for their own health. In 2017, the Japanese Society of Lifestyle Medicine was established, promoting health transformation under the core philosophy of Change Lifestyle Today, Change Life Tomorrow. These long-term efforts are ultimately reflected in profound shifts in Japan's disease profile. In the 1940s and 1950s, the main focus was on infectious diseases such as tuberculosis. Between the 1950s and 1970s, Japan entered the era of so-called adult diseases, with high stroke rates. In the 1980s and 1990s, attention shifted to cancer and cardiovascular diseases. Since 2000, the emphasis has increasingly been on preventing lifestyle-related diseases. It is also worth noting that Japan's obesity rate is extremely low. The proportion of people with a BMI over 30 is only 3.8% among women and 4.5% among men, making Japan one of the leanest countries in the world. By contrast, although the United States has one of the highest levels of physical activity participation, its obesity rate is as high as 40%, 10 times that of Japan. Even without being the most exercise-obsessed nation, Japan maintains healthy body weight through an overall lifestyle approach. These efforts have also shaped changes in the leading causes of death. After World War II, lung infections were replaced by cardiovascular diseases as the leading cause of death in the 1950s. Since 1981, cancer has remained the primary cause of mortality. In summary, Japan's longevity miracle is not the result of any single factor, but rather the product of long-term synergy between government policy, social culture, and individual behavior. It represents a balance between modern medicine and traditional wisdom, a combination of personal responsibility and community engagement, and a continuous process of adapting to demographic change. That's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.